Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I would like to have a look at Half-Life 1 in VR. Now this is called Half-Life Mod on the Steam store, and you have to own Half-Life 1 to be able to play it. Now I didn't take to Half-Life the first time I played it because it was on the PlayStation 2 and the controls were inverted. So up was down and down was up. Now a long time ago, video game developers and video games journalists were all mouse and keyboard inverted controls. I believe GoldenEye on the N64 was inverted as well. And if you didn't like it that way, well, you were what do they call them? Neanderthal, isn't it? So they thought of you as a lesser person, a little bit like the PC Master Race nonsense. You're not a proper gamer if you can't play inverted, and you're not a proper gamer if you don't play mouse and keyboard. For me, that was all complete nonsense. And I actually gave Half-Life 1 away to a friend. He loved video games, and I thought, well, if I can't enjoy it, maybe you can. So this is actually the first time I've actually played the game to any great extent. I did try and play it with the mouse and keyboard. I just couldn't do it. So hopefully this time I can play it in VR. I don't believe you can play it with the joypad on Steam still. The same with Call of Duty 2, which I find terribly disappointing because I'd love to go back through that game. So here we are on the train enjoying ourselves. Now this is quite atmospheric. It was a very good intro anyway on the original game, and actually being there is quite good. The graphics I've got in SD, didn't want to push it too hard, and I have set it on easy because I just want to enjoy the game, get as far as I can with no real hardship and problems. So let's get into the game. We have arrived at the station, and the only thing you need to do is get off the train. I have played Half-Life 2 all the way through, completed that. Half-Life 2 Episode 1, completed that. And Half-Life 2 got to the end of that, but got stuck with the final war thing that's going on, and never finished it. I am yet to play Half-Life Alyx. That is something that's going to be in the future for me. So to start with, you're just wandering around the labs, and you don't really have to do anything until the first ladder. Now we all know how I feel about ladders. So they have done a very good job here. The height is fine, the proportions are fine, the sizes of the characters, the NPCs, that's all fine. The mouths are a bit strange, but I don't know if they're animated in the first game or not. They open far too wide, probably double what they need to do. It's just like they're constantly yawning when they talk. But it doesn't really take your mind too far away from enjoying yourself. The first thing you have to do is find your suit. Your well, it's the famous suit, isn't it, that Gordon Freeman wears. It's a kind of radiation suit. And once you've found that, well, he's telling me now that you can't go any further without your suit being on. And once you've found that, you make your way to the lower platform. A bit like Resident Evil 2. And once you've made it down to the basement, your co-workers use their retinal scans to let you into the facility. We're running tests just like Chernobyl. I don't know the actual lore of Half-Life, so I'm not quite sure what the tests are. Some kind of interdimensional tests, or that's the result of the test going wrong. And here we go with the ladder. Now, climbing, that's fine, nice and easy. Hand over hand, climbing up the ladder. And then we get to this. Nope, that rung doesn't work. And nope, still doesn't work. And what do? Being careful there not to fall off the ladder, because you'll be falling all the way back down and break your legs. So yeah, it's a shame that they can't remove that girder behind the ladder just so that you can climb up, or even give you a handle at the side of the ladder so you just grip on and pull yourself over to the side. Maybe that's something that will come in a future update if they're actually going to do any more to update it. So eventually I discovered that you can reach over the top, which you should see now. And there we have it. You can reach over the top and carry on a little bit higher. Now this is the only time I managed to do this. There is a ladder a little bit later on, which you're going to see, where I couldn't do that, and that's as far as I got with the game. But on we go for now. The buttons aren't very clear, but I thought we'll give that a go, see if we can push the button, see if that works, and it does. I did have to try a few times to make it work though, which can be a bit of a pain, because sometimes when you try something in a game and it doesn't work, you abandon it and then you find out later that that is actually what you were supposed to do. It would be nice if the buttons are a little bit more defined, so it actually looked like that was what you need to press, or if it could have a highlight on it or something. So you've treated to quite a nice visual effect here. And I don't know if there was some voice dialogue that I'd missed, or there just wasn't anything, but if you see there, a piece of apparatus appears. Now, it would have been nice if it said something like, could you assist with pushing the thing into the stream, Mr. Freeman? But there it is, and I thought, well, in it goes. You just have to walk into it, you don't have to grip it or anything. And then you get to see the fireworks. Now this is worth seeing in VR. And when this come out, it probably would have been very, very good. If you think about what everybody else was playing in 1998, 1999, I believe that's when Half-Life... Is that when it came out? I didn't get it to many years after that. So now you are given a glimpse of alternate realities, or maybe places from other dimensions. I'm still not quite sure what the story is, and hopefully that will be revealed if I get further into the game. So you then go back through everywhere you've come from, but obviously now destroyed due to the events that have just unfolded. No real idea what you're doing or where you're supposed to go. Total chaos and destruction everywhere, and quite a lot of it as well, and it's very varied to actually make you feel like you're really, you know, in a real situation. Obviously these are not true to life graphics or anything like that, and it is the old game, but it's very well done, especially when you think about things like what was the Aliens game on the Sega Saturn, where everywhere looked exactly the same and you're running round and round and round. Oh dear. Yeah, games of the past. So you've got little things to do, like trying the retinal scans to see if you can get them to work. You've got people that give you little bits of information. This guy said he's going to come with you to give you a hand. And then for some reason I couldn't get him to follow me, so I had to go back again. And eventually, I'm not sure what I did, whether I clicked on him or for whatever reasons, he then followed me. Maybe I had to kill the head crab. Oh no, I've not got a weapon yet. So on we go. Now this is quite good here. In a moment's time. Let me show you. There are some laser beams, and as they're burning, they burn a pattern in the wall. Now using that pattern that's in the wall, you can use that to get past their routine. I just ducked here and got straight through, but eventually if you look, we'll come back in a moment and have another look, and you'll be able to see the burning marks in the walls where the laser beams are going. And as long as you know the pattern, then you can... Oops, got killed. But yes, once you know the pattern, then you know where to go and where not to go. I thought that's really clever, but whether or not I would have noticed that when I first played it, and if you don't notice it, then you're going to take damage, aren't you? But it's very clever. So I got it wrong. It wasn't the final ladder was the last ladder. There is another ladder here that I forgot about. Here is a ladder. This wasn't particularly difficult. The lift there we see breaks, and here we have a ladder. So we climb the ladder, which takes a while, and in VR it's not the most fun thing to do. You could do with the ladder being a lot shorter. But when you finally get to the top, all you have to do is drop off to the side and land on the ledge, which isn't too hard to do. You actually see the ledge here on your left. There we are. So make sure you get yourself high enough so that when you drop on, you don't miss and fall back down to the floor. There we are, and drop. And we shimmy along, and we're in. There we have an infected. I'm not quite sure what they are. Are they people that have turned, or are they aliens? But that is something it's got. It's definitely got character, the whole world of Half-Life. I just wish it was a little bit more engaging, a little bit more dramatic, like Resident Evil 2 was. It feels just a little bit depressing. A little bit like halfway to the world of RoboCop, but without actually having all the key ingredients. I don't know why that is. I don't know why it doesn't completely engulf me in a... Maybe it's half a game, half a life, half a game. This have confused me. I thought I pushed that button there behind the desk. I'm security now, and that would allow me to get through the doors. Didn't work. But it did turn the lights on. Not sure what else it did. Sometimes you press a button and it does something and you didn't know what it was supposed to do. But I could have overlooked that. Here we have a hole in the wall. So you have to have a look, don't you? See what's in there. and because you've already gone through a hole in the wall, you might as well look out for another hole in the wall. Nothing here is too taxing. It is all fairly easy, and it does play okay. The VR doesn't hamper it. I'm guessing they will have done testing and made things better and improvements before this was released. So I do think that there was a mod years and years ago on the original Oculus Quest, Oculus Rift, wasn't it? I think there was a version of Half-Life released for that. I never played it. The VR mods, as far as I can tell, are better than games that are made in VR. And there is a company that's making remaking versions of old games but in VR. That's quite atmospheric, isn't it? Look at that. Not unless, if you've got epilepsy, don't look at it. So after fairly good progress and fairly good fun, I ended up here. I've got a thing shooting spit at me and a big swamp. Now what I thought I needed to do here was use the, I don't know what they're called, but they're kind of like animal things hanging from the ceiling. I couldn't get up this ladder. I get to the top of the ladder and then I've got nothing to grab onto, so all I can do is fall back into the water. I'm not quite sure exactly how I'm meant to get over that ladder. Seems something I'm doing wrong or badly designed, I don't know. But if you can't do it, then you have to find something else to do. See there, I tried to pull myself over but just didn't want to know. So I thought maybe if I get these things hanging from the roof, these they're kind of like, what are they? So I thought if I can get one to pull me up, then I kill it, I'll drop back onto the platform and then I'll be able to carry on. But I couldn't. I ended up back in the water. So that was a disappointment. So I thought, well, it must be that ladder. Head grab. It must be that ladder because there's no other way. There's no other way of getting anyway. You can't swing using this like a cable, like Tarzan. And when you kill the leech kind of creature, it just drops you back in the water. So I had one more go at the ladder. I thought, let's give this one last try. And I gave up. That was it. That's as far as I get with Half-Life VR mod. It's a shame because I would have liked to see the whole game through, really. Take care, everybody.